sound crazy to you if I told you that I actually believe that you have a better chance of meeting, attracting the right person, and finding real love later in life than you might have had when you were younger? Now, before you let the inner cynic get the best of you, hear me out on this. My name is Michelle Marchant Johnson. I'm with Love Life Coaching, and I help you to be that woman of high value that attracts your high quality man. And I help women of all ages, but specifically a little more mature women, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, meet and attract the right man. And I myself, after a long and winding journey to love, became a first-time bride at age 43 and have been married now to my wonderful husband for 13 years. So back in 2011, I wrote an article, and I'll put a link to that underneath the video, that was published online talking about top 10 reasons you're more likely to find true love later in life. And I'm going to touch on those today just because I think this can be a hopeful message, and I think there's some things to consider in terms of the advantages that you might have as a little more mature woman that you might not have had when you were younger. Now, I get it, ladies. It can feel frustrating and discouraging out there when you've been in the dating scene for a long time and you're not feeling like you're meeting anyone great. Believe me, I understand that because I've gone through it myself. And I also help support clients to create more opportunities for themselves so they can meet the right man. I also understand that as we go through the aging process, we recognize we don't look like we did when we were in our 20s, 30s, and we start to sometimes feel invisible in the world at large. And yet, I do believe there are men out there who appreciate a woman who has some life experience and some wisdom, and that there are opportunities out there and advantages to actually having more life experience behind you. And I'm just going to touch on 10 top reasons, referring back to my original article that I wrote, that I believe give you an advantage when you are in the process of meeting and attracting love a little later in life. So first of all, and this is a big one, as you have more life experience, you know more about who you are. You know more about who you are as a woman, what some of your priorities are, what some of your values are, what kind of life path you want. You've had some life experience to discover more about who you are. On a deeper level, you've probably had a chance now to experience this and think about this in ways that a younger woman may not yet have had. And in part, some of this knowledge may come through hard-earned wisdom, through relationships that you've had that maybe haven't worked out, or through things that you've learned about yourself in the context of a relationship through going through those experiences. And yet, this is incredibly valuable wisdom to have. And it can be a guide as you are out there meeting people and assessing whether or not there might be compatibility with them. Number two is you know what you want. You know more about what you want in life, what you want in love, what you want in a relationship, what you want your life to be centered around, the kind of lifestyle choices you want. You know things about your priorities in terms of money, traveling, family, in terms of how you want and expect to be treated. And let's face it, sometimes we don't have as much clarity on some of those things when we're younger. We're still trying to figure that all out. I know I was. I don't feel like I had things figured out in terms of all of these things back when I was in my 20s and even into my 30s. I feel like I was still kind of figuring out who I was, what I really wanted, what my priorities were, and what I really most wanted out of life in general, and how that would intersect with a partnership relationship. So having a deeper knowledge of yourself and what you want are two huge advantages that you have that you may not have had, at least on this deep of a level, back when you were younger. Number three is you may have had that opportunity now to develop that irresistible quality that's called confidence. A lot of times as women go through life and they have more life experiences and more experience in general in business and in navigating different situations and obstacles and challenges that come up in life, we develop a deeper sense of confidence. I know that's something that's happened for me because as I've gone through some ups and downs of life and some challenges and some opportunities for growth, sometimes those are not what we want, but we get them anyway. I have learned to feel more confident in a variety of different situations. My confidence in interacting with other people is stronger. My confidence in knowing how to communicate is stronger and is growing and is developing. And so you can come to the table, so to speak, in an interaction with a man from a place of greater confidence because you know more about who you are, what you want, and you've had the life experience to go through some things that have made you stronger, wiser, and probably have given you more confidence in a lot of ways. Now, I also understand that painful or hurtful things can undermine our confidence. But hopefully, the net result of all of these experiences that you've had and that you've survived and that you've gone through and that you've triumphed over have left you as a more confident woman. And we all hear all the time that one of the most irresistible qualities for both men and women in a potential partner is having confidence. So hold your head high, be proud of who you are, at any age that you're at right now, be proud of who you are and what you stand for and what you've gone through and what you've survived, and know that you can approach life and love from that place of confidence. Number 4 is that to a large extent, the man myth shortage is actually a myth. There are high quality, good men out there, and they're coming onto the market every day. More new ones are coming onto the market every day. And what I mean by that is, I'll give you a quick example. In my own life, I've known in the last few years a couple of dear women in my own age range, in their 50s, who passed away from various forms of cancer. And in a couple of these cases, the men that they left behind, the husbands that they left behind, were very, very high quality men with good, solid jobs, careers, wonderful family men, loved their wives dearly, and were just amazing men. And in both of these cases, these men have now remarried other women who are also wonderful, wonderful women. Now, in both cases, they took some time to grieve and to get over, at least in part, the loss, heal from the loss in part. But they've also now been able to move on with their lives with amazing women. And these amazing women, in both cases, had been single for a long period of time. And sadly, as a result of their wives passing, these men became available on the market. And they're very high quality men. And I'm not saying that widowers are the only high quality men out there, but that's just an example of a couple of mature, high quality men that I know in my immediate area that came onto the market and were available. And there are high quality men out there, and I don't discount the fact that it can feel challenging sometimes to know how to meet them or how to go about finding them. And that's one of the reasons why it can be valuable to have the support and help from a coach to help you to create that plan for creating more opportunities for yourself to meet more high quality men online and offline. However, I do know, because not only did I meet and marry my husband in my 40s, but I've supported and worked with women in their 50s, 60s, and beyond who have met high quality men, partnered with them, and in some cases even married them. And so I know there are high quality men out there. I also know that most women that are single are not meeting enough high quality men. So this is an area where support from a coach can really make a difference to help you to create that plan for those opportunities. Okay, number 5 is you have the wisdom and experience to recognize a good man when you see one. So one thing that I know is that many of us may have taken a tour through the whole dating a bad boy or the wrong guy kind of experience. In fact, I would say most of us have dated the wrong man at some point, and many of us have dated a bad boy. And I think one of the advantages of having a little bit more maturity is you also have the wisdom to know that while chemistry and attraction is important, that it's also important to look at the deeper qualities, the heart and character qualities of who a man actually is, and to assess a man's worthiness or his relationship readiness or his ability to be a good partner for you through a little more mature lens. And you have the advantage of perhaps taking a tour through some of these wrong men or these bad boys, or just being in the chemistry driven relationships where there was no foundation other than the chemistry to support that relationship. And so now you're able to recognize, see, and appreciate a good, solid man who has the heart and character qualities, but may not have some of the flash or pizzazz or the immediate chemistry that you might have experienced with some of these bad boys, wrong guys, or whoever in the past. So I think that's a big advantage to you as well. Number 6 is you've gained emotional intelligence. So chances are, if you're listening to this, you've had the experience of being through more than one relationship. And through those relationships, although some of the lessons that we learn can be challenging and painful, you have gained wisdom and you've gained experience and you've gained emotional intelligence. And the fact that you're here listening to a video about relationships means that you are a student of love. You're a student of growth. You're committed to your own growth and development. And chances are you've learned some things that have helped you in terms of being emotionally intelligent yourself and learning how to communicate, learning how to ask for what you want and need, and learning how to interact more effectively in your relationships in general, and specifically in your relationships with a man. Now, I will say there's always more room for growth in this area. I'm dedicating my life and my time to dating, relationships, and understanding partnership, and how to have more successful relationships and connections. And I'm still learning and growing every day. So there's always more opportunity for growth. But I will say one of the advantages of having some relationships in your past, some that were lessons and some that were gifts, and let's just say maybe they were all gifts in one way or another in different ways, is that you now have developed more emotional intelligence yourself, which allows you to navigate relationships now more effectively than you may have had the ability to do in the past. Number 7 is whether or not you feel like you're aging gracefully or not, you have the inner beauty that can shine through as a more mature woman that someone else, even younger than you, may not have. And what I mean by that is, sure, we know that men are attracted physically and visually to women. And younger women may have the advantage there because they don't have gravity taking over in places we'd rather not. They maybe don't have the wrinkles on our face that we're starting to see. But you also have an inner wisdom, an inner radiance, an inner beauty that comes through these experiences, and a maturity that comes through these experiences that the right man is going to truly appreciate. Now, I'm not saying we can wear the hot pants and look like the 18-year-olds because most of us can't. But I am saying that we do have something to offer and a beauty that comes more of like a queenly beauty that comes through some life experience and through some maturity. And I absolutely believe the right man can and will appreciate that. And I am married myself to a man who's 5 years my junior. And I also have many clients who are aging quite gracefully, and they are able to date and partner in some cases with men who are a little bit younger. I think the age thing at our stage in life, especially the 40 and above crowd, is not as important as the energetic match. So I think even more important than age is if you're a woman who's very high energy and you're healthy and strong and active and you're in your 50s, 60s or beyond, you need to be looking for a man who's more your energetic match and not necessarily be as focused on just the age piece. Age can be part of it, but I think even more important than age is an energetic match. And so that's something just to be aware of. But I do believe that while you may not feel as beautiful or as attractive as you might have felt in your 20s or 30s, you can give yourself credit for having that inner beauty and then doing what you can to keep yourself physically attractive, to be feeling good about yourself when you are interacting with men out there and when you're out in the world. That's just a form of good self-care. Okay, so let's see. The next one is number 8 is you may have much more control over your own destiny than it may seem. So one thing that I know and believe from doing this work that I've been doing for about a decade now is that while, yes, we don't control what other people do, and relationships involve more than just yourself, they involve another person, and that person has their free will and choice. There is a lot that you can do to create more opportunities for yourself to meet and attract the right person. And a lot of that starts with getting out of your own way. And so when I'm working with my private clients, one of the things we do at first is we get a really clear vision about what it is that you really want in your life, what that looks like, what that feels like, how that fits into your values and your lifestyle. And then we create a specific plan. We look at what has worked in the past, what is working now, or what isn't working now. We create a plan to help you to begin to move forward to create more opportunities for yourself. We also look at what might be slowing you down or blocking you from having the relationship of your dreams. We help you to be ready to receive more than you've perhaps ever had in your life in terms of a relationship. And we help master and manage the things that might be coming up in terms of fears or doubts or things that could sabotage you along the way if they're not managed. And so it's really, really important that you can recognize that you actually do have not control over someone else, but you have control over how you're moving forward toward having what you want in your life. And with some support and with a specific plan that puts you on that trajectory, you have a lot more control over whether or not you have opportunities to see and be seen by more high quality men and to dramatically increase your possibilities of meeting someone who's just right for you. And sometimes in the midst of all of this, especially when something hasn't happened for a while, we lose sight of the fact that we actually have more control than we might recognize over our own destiny. Number 9 is the internet has created a whole new world of possibility for meeting people. Now, I understand and I know that online dating has its advantages and disadvantages, and that many of you that have tried it may not have felt like it was very effective for you or found it frustrating or disappointing. All of that is very real. However, I do believe that with the right support and the right guidance and the right system, as I provide with my private clients and help my clients with, you can make that experience more effective, efficient, and enjoyable, and dramatically increase your opportunity and chances to meet someone who you really might be a match with. The other advantage to internet dating is that you have the opportunity to meet people that you might not otherwise ever meet in real life. And when I work with my clients, we have a combination of both online and offline opportunities that we help create for you, because I believe that's the most powerful combination to help increase your odds of meeting someone who's just right for you. But I think enough people are meeting online these days that it's definitely worth exploring and committing yourself to a process and a program to give yourself the best results with that, because I believe it can exponentially increase your opportunities to meet someone great. And with my private clients, I've had many of my clients that have met men both online and offline. So I believe it's the most powerful combination that you can have to do both. But you need a system, you need some support, you need some guidance, because it can be hard to do that on your own and to stay motivated and to stay clear and to know how to navigate some of the different situations that come up. So that's a reason that the right support can be really valuable. Number 10 is, and this is a big one, love can actually be more satisfying and enjoyable at this stage in life. Well, why is that? Because if you have been through some disappointing or disheartening or heartbreaking experiences in the past, you're going to value, cherish, and appreciate the love that you find a little later in life, maybe more than you would have earlier on in life. And I'm not saying that love can't be good at any stage of life, because it absolutely can. But I also know that as you have a little bit more maturity and wisdom, and especially when you've been through some relationships that maybe haven't worked out, you might have a greater understanding, appreciation of the value of a great partner and of a great relationship in your life. And you might be willing to do more to foster that relationship, to keep it fresh, to keep it growing, because you know how precious and valuable that relationship is in your life. And I believe those things, along with the other things that we've talked about already, can make love at a later stage in life, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, even more deeply satisfying and even more beautiful than it might have actually been had you found it earlier. So I recognize that it's not always easy to stay hopeful and in a place of faith when you've been through years of disappointment or heartache or relationships that haven't worked out. You may have had your heart broken or dashed. You may be finding the dating experience somewhat frustrating. You may have even given up or checked out for a period of time, and all of those things are real and they're actually okay. But I wanted to offer this perspective and perhaps give you some hope and just another lens to look through, to remind you that there are actually some advantages and benefits to meeting and attracting someone a little later in life and finding love later in life. And I can tell you that for me, the journey was absolutely worth it, as frustrating, hard, disappointing, and painful as it was at times. Meeting and attracting the right man for me, and now enjoying this wonderful relationship that I've enjoyed with my husband over the last 13 years has been one of the greatest gifts of my life. And I'm holding that vision for you. If that's something you want, I'm holding that vision for that loving, committed partnership relationship in my heart and mind for you. And I'm sending you love, blessings, and appreciating your presence and taking time to watch this video. And if you have a comment or a question, please feel free to leave that below. Let me know what you think the advantages could be to finding love later in life, or what you find most challenging. And also feel free, if you like this video, to please give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thank you so much for being here. Love and blessings. Bye for now.